Well, hello everybody. Welcome to a silent episode coming in with no music because internet. I am Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage and SI. This is the Missing Links post-game live stream podcast thing. And Jon Krawczynski from The Athletic joining us today. How's it going, John?
Good, Andrew. How's everything with you?
Not as busy as I was a month ago at this time when we were sitting in Vegas trying to listen to Cheryl's post-game live or post-game comments as a summer league game was going on.
You wear a lot of hats, I will say, and it exhausts me just watching you do what you do. So, the dedication is commendable, but I imagine that you run your fingers to the bone every now and then.
I mean, how much can we really complain when we get to just go and watch basketball
That's
for a
true.
living?
Yeah, we're not digging
So
ditches, that's for sure. So,
yeah, I'll never complain about being able to just sit there and watch basketball year round. Thankfully, I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about like juggling athletics, homework, and basketball. My life is just basketball and make sure I don't get a divorce. That's about it.
yeah, prioritize those. Maybe flip them on the
Yeah,
priority
they're
scale, and
they're
then you're
flipped.
then you're good to go. So, yeah.
Well, John, I put in our outline where I'm going to ask you questions that I probably could have asked you last year when you did this, but now I have more confidence. So these are just things I've been curious about that I've wanted to know for at least a few years. The first one being when you switched from being AP Johnny
Mhm.
to Johnny Athletic, was there like, did you have a brief moment where you were like, I want to be Athletic Johnny going on these shows?
So no, it kind of took on a life of its own and was gone before I had a chance to choose it. I'm on with Barrero on KFan, and so they called me AP Sports Guy before when I was with the AP, and then when I made this switch over, which was a whole kind of crisis of confidence and all of the things that go into a decision like that. I get on for the first time and they say, "Well, we got to find a new nickname," and then like one of the listeners or something just said Johnny Athletic, and it was like, okay, like that sounds good, and I was a puddle at the moment and had no position to make any decisions, and so I just kind of rode with it and have gone with it ever since, and it seemed to have worked out. So no problem with that moniker whatsoever.
So this wasn't a you behind the scenes pushing Barrero for
No,
a new
no,
nickname
yeah,
thing.
this wasn't Kobe Black Mamba like picking his own, nickname or anything like that. It was thrust upon me, and I'm glad that it was because they're just people are really creative out there, and they come up with good ideas, and it was kind of colloquial enough like that it's comfortable. The people at my company, which at that time was a fledgling little business that we were trying to get our name out there. So to have athletic in that, was a home run with my folks, and then I just knew regular, pretty quickly bumping into people on the street and stuff, and hey, Johnny Athletic, and like, all right, that's catching on. So I'm just gonna roll with it. But yeah, there was nothing premeditated about it. There was no thought given to it on my end at all. It was just like I don't think you should be able to pick your own nickname. I think that has to be given to you, and so I followed the rules.
I mean, you followed the rules, worked out great. I will say it was as a listener of that drive time show coming home from like college classes at the time. Man, that was weird when all of a sudden it's no more AP Johnny. It's like, who's this
Yeah.
guy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like the whole thing was like not a disaster. The whole thing was great in the end, but yeah. I mean, all my identity was tied up in all of that, including I had AP in my Twitter handle. I had I was a proud card carrying member of it, and it was this like old established news organization,
Mhm.
and things were good there, and a lot of the people who joined the Athletic had been fired or laid off at other places and sort of had no other choice. I did, and so then to like transition to this new upstart thing that nobody really knew about, and what do you mean you're going to charge a subscription and like all of these things, and now you have to charge a subscription just for anything in the world. But yeah, it was all a huge ordeal for me to make that transition. And thankfully it all did work out. But it was, yeah, I had a nervous breakdown. I think, kind of trying to make the decision and make the jump.
What and this is kind of leads me into my next question. It's just like what was that decision like?
Yeah, I
Like you
mean, it was.
said, you left kind of the gold standard at the time of national niche basketball writing.
Yeah, and this was like, this was 9 years ago now.
Hmm.
So, back then, I mean, the AP was like one of those things where I thought, in this volatile industry, I thought if I want to retire from the AP, I can do it. And like that's hard to find.
Yeah.
And so I was established. Think they took good care of me and all of those things, but I just had sort of like this feeling in the back of my head of like, all of this is changing so fast, and it doesn't feel like a lot of the legacy outlets were prepared to adapt as quickly as it was changing. And I wasn't a visionary or anything, but I just felt like this is starting to feel just a little bit shaky. And then, the Athletic came along and promised more freedom and more kind of resources and more ambition, than I'd had. And at that time, I'd been with AP for like 16 years. And so I was maybe thinking about looking for other things, another pathway. But at the same time, I mean, I had, a young son and a young daughter,
Hmm.
and trying to like balance what was the responsible thing to do as a father and provider versus like was I just chasing this kind of dream of getting to another situation. And was I doing the right thing? And so yeah, like I mean, I lost 15 pounds in like the 12 in the 6 weeks that it took for me to decide. And I was an absolute wreck, like just had no idea what to do. And ultimately I just decided to go because like I wanted to really challenge myself and just say like, hey, like how good can I really be at this? And I felt like that was the avenue to really find out, like, can I be one of the best? Can I do this like at the highest level? And so I had no idea it was going to eventually grow to what it has today, and be a part of the New York Times and all those things. So I'm really lucky. But it was, yeah, it was not an easy decision. It was like I did not have some foresight that was like, oh yeah, we're going to be across the world and we're going to be the sports section of the New York Times, all this. No, like I didn't. I just thought I want to challenge myself, and so I'll give it a shot. And thankfully it worked out.
I mean, I remember at the time, as Jude mentions, not the best weight loss plan.
I
Um,
actually should try it again, I guess, because I could stand to lose like about 10 pounds again, probably.
but like I remember at the time, it was again, I wasn't even thinking about doing sports media yet. But when it
Mm.
was like Jon Krawczynski's leaving the AP to go to this new subscription based thing where you have
Mm-hmm.
to pay like what was it at the beginning, like $4 a month, three
Yeah,
bucks a
like
month, or
$2
something
a
like
month. Yeah,
that.
if you paid full price for the Athletic, you were a sucker back then. I'll tell you that for sure.
But it was I even not being in the industry, I was shocked of what the heck is going on here. Britt Robinson
Mm-hmm.
ends up being a coworker of yours,
Mm-hmm.
best coworker at the Athletic, or who's
Oh,
your Mount Rushmore of guys
yeah,
working
no.
over there
I
now?
mean, he was amazing, and I had talked to Britt a lot before I made the decision because like I wanted to give the thing as much of a chance of succeeding as possible, and I
Hmm.
knew that this was a leap of faith. And so um when Britt actually made the decision to go before I did. And so when he signed on and said, "Yeah, I'll go with you," that made it so much easier for me to do it because you just like the whole idea was we're going to provide a premium service.
Hmm.
And so to have Britt there, to have Michael Russo there with me at the, that was just fantastic locally. And then being able to team up with people like Marcus Thompson and people like James Edwards, and Just a lot of unbelievably talented folks. Yeah, it's you, it sort of kind of pushes you to be better and like try to pull your own
Mhm.
weight. And so, but yeah, like I think Britt and Russo and all of our local guys, Gleeman when he was still with
Yeah.
us, um, and Dan Hayes, Alec Lewis, I'm super proud of our Minnesota group. Like I think it is one of the best performing groups. Like we have one of the biggest audiences, and the whole staff just does a really really good job. And so to just be part of that and to really kind of be one of the markets that can prove that yeah something like this can work and we can have success with it has been really rewarding and gratifying. But it's yeah, teaming with all those guys it's incredible to think about all of the people that I have been teammates with and continue to be.
Was there ever a thought of going national?
I so like there's been several opportunities both with the Athletic and with other outlets who have come and made nice offers and stuff, and it's always really humbling to get those kinds of offers and thoughts and overtures. Uh, but for me, no, this is home for me. I'm from here. My family's here. I grew up watching these teams. Like I have a certain allegiance to my audience and the fans here. Like I've seen people come and go, players, coaches, media people, all of that, and I always kind of have tried to stand up for this place. Like this isn't a stepping stone. Like this is the
Mhm.
podium, and I have such a like I have such a connection with the people who support me and who read my stuff and listen to my podcasts and come out to live shows and do those things. It feels like I could never leave and abandon them. And one of the reasons is that they are so supportive that um, I don't have to. Like
Yeah.
I have a really good kind of base of people, and so that's just always gratifying. Now, I think you will see me do stuff occasionally with the Athletic that branches away from the Timberwolves and I think I'll do a little bit more of that going forward, but it won't be sort of at the expense of the Timberwolves. Like that's my baby. Like that's the thing that I built, and that's the connection that I have, and so I just don't ever plan on leaving that behind. And you guys all have to put up with me for the duration, I think. So
I mean, you can tell that it's your baby. Like
yes.
it being this will be my third year on the Wolves beat
Mm-hmm.
coming up. Like you can just tell you run the thing. I mean, you are kind of the head of and the example that we try and follow, and you run it like it is the most important thing in the world to you. And that I think does, I mean, it bleeds down all the way to people like me, all the way to, Ryan Eichten, guys at Canis. Like
Mm-hmm.
we all feel that. So it doesn't surprise me that you're never leaving.
Yeah, no, it's like that's what like I have a lot. There's a lot of sort of young journalists that come up and we talk and stuff, and I have no issues with people who do want to be the national writer, who do want to kind of go to that bigger stage. But I do think that some people um, lose sight of the value and of what you can build just by investing everything you have in the one team, in the local, in that audience, and how rewarding that can be. um that's I think like it is easy to kind of chase something bigger and maybe more money, or maybe a little more status or whatever. But man, like just for me personally, the I think that there's just a stronger connection you build with on in the grassroots level, and that's the kind of stuff that will never kind of fail you. And if you invest in them the way that they invest in you, like that, it can be so much fun and such a good situation. And so like I've just never taken that for granted at all.
I mean, I would echo all of that. Like over the last 5 years, going from guy who had no clue how to do this to where I'm at now, without Wolves and Lynx fans, like this doesn't happen for me. And if Wolves and Lynx fans weren't so insanely dedicated and cool and interesting and wanting coverage, like I wouldn't be here. And I think you hit the nail on the head of, I think some people are just made to be a beat reporter. Like the relationships you build in the building, from janitors and cameramen all the way to the head coach, like that's the fun part for me. I feel like I get that from you too, that you genuinely enjoy talking to everyone from camera people to valets to everything else. And yeah, it's a ton of fun. But we probably should talk Lynx. This is a Lynx podcast.
Right.
We're
Yes.
16 minutes in, haven't even asked you yet. I'm just gonna pose the name and kind of let you run with it. I mean, Olivia Miles.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think the absolute clear connection as a Minnesota born and bred person that keeps coming up for me is Randy Moss.
Yeah.
You know, for those who were alive back then and understand, you know, Moss came to the Vikings when they were a good team, but they were, you know, not a ton of expectations. They kind of had gotten a little stale, and I'm not saying that was the way with the Lynx, but the Lynx came into this season with muted expectations, given all of their losses, given Fee's injury and Dorca's injury. And so it was like, what is gonna happen this season? And then Olivia has exploded to a degree that is just so rare in any sport. To be able to not only be a star individually, but to galvanize a team and a community the way that she has, it just feels exactly like 1998 Randy Moss. Like, you know, she has transcended just the WNBA audience. I mean, she is getting attention from wider lenses, just because of, you know, her dynamic playing style, her ability to raise the level of her teammates, just her overall electricity, and so, you know, when you're having conversations about the best first year, you know, debut seasons in Minnesota sports history, Vikings, Twins, go Timberwolves, Wild, you know, all of it, Lynx. I mean, she is right near the top, and I think it's her and Randy right now. And what an amazing kind of shot of adrenaline that is. And you know, when Moss was here, and like it went from an okay team to 15-1, and it didn't work out the way we all wanted it to, but it was still an amazing ride. And Olivia comes into a team that has a lot of question marks, and she practically solves all of them herself. And so, you know, that it's just the kind of player and presence that is rare. And so to see it happen for an organization that deserves it with the way they've been run for so long, it's, you know, it's been so much fun to watch. And you just think, you know, it's so tantalizing, because you think, you know, this is the worst she's ever going to be in the WNBA. You know, like that's and that's the scary part, is she is only going to get better here, and so to have that is just so much fun. It's really, really cool.
I keep saying that this year too, and I keep trying to like pump the brakes on myself of, this is the worst she's going to be. Like next year she is going to add stuff to her game. The year after that, she's 5 years away from being in her prime. It's just, she might be the third or fourth best player in the league, and this is the worst she's going to be. I mean, you've covered a lot of basketball teams. I mean, Britt was on here a month or so ago, and he kind of brought up the flair of a Rubio, dropped Tony Parker as like a point guard that just dropped into a championship team, had some way back answers as well. Is there anyone that you can even, because the low hanging fruit is like, oh, she's the LeBron, Michael Jordan, that type of stuff. But it's like, well, LeBron struggled his first season, and he's a forward. I can't remember a point guard that just had it.
Yeah, I mean, like Rubio, who is like my favorite player I've ever covered. So, um, he absolutely had an amazing effect on that team with his playing style,
Mm-hmm.
but he also had some limitations to his game that Olivia does not. And so, like, this is going to sound crazy, but the player that you think about is Magic Johnson. Like this bigger than average point guard who sees the floor, who connects the team, who arrives right away and they are immediately successful, and just like changes the entire organization. That's what Magic did. And so Magic, I think, is the best point guard to ever do it, male or female. And so I'm pumping the brakes just a little bit on that, but like that's the effect. Like she is an MVP candidate right now. Like, and
Yeah.
she, like, I would say you could vote for her without taking even a second thought. And I know Asia Wilson is probably the best player, but if you're talking valuable, like it's Olivia Miles right now. I don't think that there's a question in my mind. And so that is the impact that Magic had with the Lakers as a rookie coming out of Michigan State, and just he was a puppet master, and like his hands were on the strings, and everyone got better with Magic there. And he also had this vibrant personality that was something that the league had not really seen. And Olivia is, just I will do whatever it takes to win, and I will make everyone around me better. Like now, to Kenneth's point, is she going to play center if Natasha Howard gets hurt in the finals? I don't know, but would I say go for it? Yes, I would. Like that's what I would say. If anyone could, maybe it is her. So, that's just like these are the sort of comparisons that you do have to make with a rookie who is having a season like this. This is darn near unprecedented stuff. And so it causes you to sort of have these thoughts and say, wait a minute, do I really want to say this? I don't know if I do or not, but shoot, like what else would you say to it? And so yeah, she's just and she's bringing in fans from all different walks of life. I mean, everyone on social media is retweeting her highlight packages and stuff like that, and it's just it's a sensation, and like I don't think you can overstate that.
The amount of people I haven't talked to in a decade that have reached out to ask about Olivia Miles is kind of insane this year. Mm-hmm. I want to get your thoughts. One of the things that really took me early on in the season was just how fast they gave her the keys. It was literally maybe the second game in preseason, and Court, K-Mac, Tosh, Nia, Cheryl, all of them were just like, this is Olivia's team until Fee comes back. I mean, how rare is it that a veteran core like that, where, Court's in her 30s, Mac's 33, I think, Nia's 30, Tosh is 34, like for a team to just all acknowledge, oh, this is just Liv's team now. That's how we win.
Yeah, I mean, it is rare, and especially I think it's rare in this league. Like we have seen, like these are prideful veterans that have gone through the wars and believe that you get to a certain level in the league from a status standpoint by every single year putting in the work and grinding. And those who kind of come in and get the shine right away, sometimes they don't get received quite as well right off the bat. But I think that, it's a tribute to Olivia's sort of overall personality and comportment that I don't think that she ever made these veterans feel like she was upstaging them. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm here to help you, and I'm going to learn from you, and I respect you. And then that made it easier for the vets to say, okay, this is yours now. You take it. We trust you to handle it in the right way. Because a lot of times just any athlete when they're that young, they're ambitious and they want it all right away, and maybe they don't necessarily know how to handle the grasping for it and the going and earning that kind of a status. But she really just has a great way about her that gets her teammates to buy in and not feel threatened by her or anything like that. And then there's just the overall physical ability is indisputable. And so like I kind of think about back to, when I was going to Vikings training camps a lot when I was younger, Adrian Peterson's first camp, he was there, and even in the just taking handoffs against air, you could say if you've never watched football in your life, you look at that and say that guy's different than anyone else. Like that guy is bigger, stronger, faster, and just even among these elite athletes stands head and shoulders above. Percy Harvin was the same way. Moss was that way. But I think that's the thing with Olivia is like she got in there and started whipping the ball to, people that had no idea it was coming and controlling games with, just grabbing that ball, putting it in the palm of her hand and putting the game in the palm of her hand as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no one smarter than the players themselves. And so when they see that and they can understand before anyone else, just like this person is different. Like she can do things that no one else can. And I think there was also a recognition of, guess what? She's going to make all of us better. Like she's going to make me money by doing this. And so, I think it is very rare, but it also is earned on her part just in the way that she's gone about the whole process. And she has such a different way of doing things that, you'd be foolish not to look at that and say, look at Natasha Howard, look at Kayla McBride. These are older players in their 30s that are going to extend their careers by years, probably because she's there, and they recognize that, and that's a powerful thing.
It's the other thing that they have all talked about. You mentioned one of them is that everyone has to learn how to play basketball again because Liv is just going to be whipping basketballs at them.
Yeah.
The other thing is just she asks so many questions. And I think when you're a veteran and you just have somebody constantly asking questions, where do you want the ball? Where do you want laces? Where do you want it on drop passes? It earns like some sort of respect from them, I think, because they've all brought it up independently of just, she's just so curious. John, I'm going to throw us over to a couple ad reads. When we come back, I want to talk a little more Olivia Miles, little Cheryl, see if you have any Napheesa Collier trade deadline scoops, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read, this time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. So I'm going to group a couple things together here. I remember last year when you were on, you had mentioned a couple times that like Fee is just such a good role model to have when you're raising a daughter of, class, hard work, soft spoken, but also is able to rip the league apart when she needs to. How I guess I'm trying to think of how to word it, of just like how refreshing is it to, one, you have that type of role model for someone to look up to, but then you also have Liv, who is just unapologetically herself, the goggles, the afro, the trash talking. I mean, she has like a loud style. I mean, just as someone who's parenting someone that's playing sports, is that something you think about, of just how lucky you are to have that type of role models in state?
Yeah, yeah, it's great because that's raising a daughter who plays basketball and who's an athlete. What I want most for her in those experiences is just to gain confidence, to believe in herself, to know what it's like to be a part of a team and learn how to be a teammate, but also to kind of to develop leadership qualities. And when you can put Liv and Fee on the TV, or bring her to Target Center to watch and see it happen in real time and see real tangible examples of women doing this at the highest possible level in different ways, is fantastic. I love that Olivia is demonstrative. I love that she shows certainty in herself, and so that part is something that I point out to Nita, is like, just look at the way that she goes about it. She never backs down from anything. She trusts herself, and like doesn't you she doesn't try to be anything that she's not. And those are, just, and it's, I can tell her about this, but her seeing it is just so much more powerful. And hey, look at Fee, and not only what she does on the court, but how intelligent she is off the court, and what the leader she is in terms of collective bargaining, and the business side of things, and how she thinks about all of the possible connections to the game beyond just playing, and how she doesn't worry about ruffling feathers, and like those kinds of things. Like it's incredible to have those types of people right in market here, and that are right in front of her on a regular basis, and just charting that pathway forward for sure.
Who's her favorite player? Has Liv usurped Fee, or is
Not
she a
quite
court gal?
yet. Yeah, I mean, like she is. So Nita is a point guard, and so like I think it's coming. Like I think that baton will be passed here probably eventually. Nita wears number 5, and Liv wears 5, and she's just so dynamic that I think we're going to get there with it. But like she's also very loyal, and so she has been a Fee person, and so she kind of keeps up with that too, and wants to make sure that Fee, even when she was injured, felt like we hadn't forgotten about her, and that kind of thing. Same with Kat. Like she just like you can't tell her anyone is better than Kat in the NBA, and so she makes up her mind, and she stays with the people that she's with. So yeah, I think she is balancing the both of them, I think, equally, and I think a lot of probably Lynx fans are feeling the same way right about now.
Yeah, it's a common thread of do I buy an Olivia Miles jersey and just like stitch it together with the Fee one, or what do I do? Um Wanted to just get your thoughts on Cheryl before we get out of here too. 9 new players this year, only 4 holdovers from last season, 5 in total if you're including Dorka from 2024. Currently, they're second in offensive rating, second in defensive rating, first in net rating. I think they're second in true shooting. They're 4 games ahead of the 1 seed with 13 games left. I mean, how kind of bonkers is it that Cheryl has been able to do this again?
Yeah, I mean it's incredible, and we shouldn't be surprised about it, especially coming off of last year. And like I think that she gets a lot of attention for her vocal leadership, for the way that she takes up for social justice issues, for the T-shirts she wears, for all of that stuff that is fearless, and that is all highly commendable and very admirable. But I do think it overshadows who she is as an X's and O's schemer, as a coach who adapts to the players that she has and just figures out ways to take what is available to her and mold them and into something that can be not just a good team but a legitimately great team. She's done it time and time again, and like, in the past you wondered, okay, well, she had 4 Hall of Famers on her team. Like, what coach wouldn't be able to have success with that? But I think this latest era of Cheryl over the last 3, 4 years has really revealed her to be as good of a just game coach that there is or probably ever has been in this league. And so I think she also deserves a ton of credit for giving Olivia Miles all the rope that she has. Like, there are coaches who would try to rein in or be worried about a rookie kind of playing the way that she does, and Cheryl has adapted to that as well. Like, I don't think that she planned on Olivia exploding the way she did when they picked her right away. She probably thought it was going to be a little bit more of a process, but when she saw that this kid is ready for all of it, she gave all of it to her. And so just what she's been able to do with the shorthanded team, with a completely new roster, with the injuries to Fee and Dorka, like it's nothing that I didn't know already, but it's just like the exclamation point on the end of the sentence. Like, this is the best coach that's ever coached in the WNBA, and she continues to prove that, game in and game out, year in and year out. And to one chat point, she's done a great job as a GM too. Like, she did not like overpay for any of Jess Shepard's having an unbelievable year. Like, a couple of other of the former Lynx are doing very well, but you have to make tough decisions, and there's been nothing that she's done that you're like, I don't know about this one. And so she's got both bases covered there, and it's been a pretty emphatic season for her.
I was looking over their books after shoot around with Terry, and we were just kind of talking about it. Of the Lynx, their entire roster is off contract in 2 years, except for Liv and Ola. Like, to also be able to set up a team where it's like, all right, if this doesn't work, we're going to have a rookie in her 3rd year and a rookie in her 4th year as the only players on the team 2 years from 2 years from now. Just wild. Last one I got for
you. Well, lastly on that too is like, that is going to be her challenge now. Is like, we all know, like, there's been a ton of smoke around Fee and what's going on there, and so, like, it is kind of, as the GM and as the coach, like, it will be on her to be like figuring out a way to make that work. And it looks like all things are going in the right direction there, but all the priority has to be, how do I keep Napheesa and Olivia together for the long haul? And if she can do that, I mean, raise more banners are going up.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way. There's no way it's not happening, whether it's this year or next year. That is an unparalleled duo. That it's, the challenge for Cheryl now is to, like, all right, like, let's just get this done and just figure this out and keep her around for the long haul.
The Target Center roof would start tilting from the amount of banners that they could put up if they're together for 6 years. I mean, I last thing I want to ask you about was just the Fee situation. I mean, I've been probably not the best comp, but she's back-to-back runner-up MVP. Jokic the last 2 years is the back-to-back runner-up MVP. I mean, to have a player of that type of caliber that's just an unrestricted free agent. I mean, I know you're not on the WNBA like media side of it, like nose to the grindstone, but just how kind of unprecedented is it that's like she's going to be an unrestricted free agent in 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely rare. I mean, certainly in the NBA, like, the collective bargaining agreement is designed to not allow this to happen. It just never does.
Yeah.
And so, now, given all of the volatility around the WNBA and what just went on with the collective bargaining agreement and kind of things changing on the fly, you now have this maybe unprecedented situation, or certainly a very incredibly rare situation that has developed. And like, yeah, I am not plugged in nearly to the level that I am on the Wolves side of things, and I'm not following it, checking with sources on a day to day level. But I mean, it also it was known. There were plenty of murmurs, whispers, however you want to determine it, like as the seasons got started, that, well, the writing on the wall is that this is Fee's last year in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether that is entirely accurate or not, that was absolutely a real thing hanging in the air. And of course, with the way that Fee decided her own to be a free agent and not take, a long-term deal like that, that contributed to it. And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, things certainly have changed with Olivia's arrival and ascension, and um and so I do think that, assuming that all of this does get worked out over the long term, one of the great things that you could say about Cheryl and about the organization is they didn't panic.
Yeah.
When things were looking like a little dicey, at least, and maybe ominous, if at worst. And there are other organizations that would have said, "Man, we better get what we can for her now. Let's get rid of this before we lose, a generational player for nothing." And I think that Cheryl's gravitas and the Lynx history of being one of the best organizations in the league, they really did say, we're going to lean on our competence and that we can figure this out over the long haul. And so they have operated not out of fear, but out of kind of confidence that, hey, this is salvageable. We can figure this out. Whatever the issues are can be worked on. And turns out, like, maybe one of the issues is, let's just find the best point guard in the history of the game and see if he wants to do that. And so maybe there's a little luck involved or whatever it is, but if but by doing it and waiting it out, I think they have at least positioned themselves to make a strong argument to Fee, like, look, this is the best place for you. We will build a winner around you. We will take care of you. And all of this can work out just great. And so, they have put their best foot forward this season, and that's really all you can ask. And they have not compromised their ability to win a championship by punting on her. And so, we'll see how it all works out. But I like the way that they have gone about it and not kind of bitten their fingernails all the way down and just said, we got to get rid of her. We got to do it. And so, it's probably going to yield big dividends because of that.
I like what you said, how they didn't operate in fear, because that's the kind of the vibe I've gotten from. There's just this quiet confidence of, like, I remember one of Cheryl's first press conferences this season. She told me, like, we're not going, every team's going to want Napheesa Collier. We want her to focus on her recovery, and we're going to have just as good of a chance as everyone else. And, like, to have that approach with your star, that even that doesn't really happen on the men's side. I mean, you look at Milwaukee with Giannis, they kind of dragged it into 2 years of trying to convince him. It's just such a weird situation for the team to be in. But that's all I had on the docket today. I did want to give you the opportunity, though, because Head Flyer Brewery closed its tap room doors, but you have found a new home with, oh gosh, now I'm dropping the name, Forgotten Star in That's Northeast, which not too far away, but you have a live recording coming up, right?
Yeah, appreciate that. August 16th, Sunday, 5 p.m. live show at Forgotten Star in Fridley. It's right off of 694 on East River Road, very easy to get to. We will have Tim Connolly there for a conversation about this summer, about the moves that have been made, the moves that weren't made, like kind of looking ahead to next year. and we'll have some giveaways. We'll have some drink specials. We'll have some Q&A with the audience, and should be super fun. So if you're free and available, stop by Forgotten Star in Fridley, August 16th at 5 p.m. for a sit down with Tim Conley.
Also, like, really good sour selection there. So if it's like 97 degrees out, they have a really good strawberry sour that I have a growler in my fridge of right now. It's a good vibe. I'm glad that you chose to go from Head Flyer to just another brewery that I like, because it has really costed me nothing by you having to change venues, which I appreciate.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was first and foremost in the front of my mind, is what, your preference for beer and sours, and so I'm, we checked that box, and everything else worked out from there. So it's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jon. For everyone that joined in here for the live stream, if you came in late, it will be up on YouTube and Twitter. As soon as I end the stream, it'll come up on the Missing Links live stream, post-game podcast, whatever we call this thing. 2 years into this, I still don't have a set name, but it will be on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I will be back with King of B Taylor after the Sparks game tonight in like 6 hours. So I hope you're not sick of talking WNBA yet. Jon, thank you so much for doing this. Everyone else, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you later today.